There's a house in Hollow Creek that most people drive past without even turning their heads. To anyone else, it's just an old colonial tucked behind thick pine trees. Its paint faded, windows dusted, porch sagging with age. But to the locals, it's a place you don't ask questions about. It's not haunted, not the way you'd expect. There's no moaning in the halls, no phantom footsteps or blood dripping from walls. The house on Elmridge Lane is quieter than that. Too quiet, like it's holding its breath. Music fades in softly, eerie piano, ambient drone. The history is patchy. Missing permits, vanished owners, deeds lost in courthouse fires. But a few names stand out. Samuel Arden, a watchmaker who built the home in 1896. 2 years later, he vanished without a trace. Neighbors said he became obsessed with time, locking himself in his study for days. Then one morning, his front door was wide open. Breakfast set on the table, his tools still warm. But Samuel was gone, forever. A hush. Next came Martin Hess, a banker, found dead in his bathtub, not from drowning, but with no water in his lungs. Then Margaret Clay. She lived there for 4 months. Her diary, found posthumously, spoke of voices behind walls, whispers under floorboards. She died of a heart attack at 38, or so they claimed. Shift in tone, more intimate, emotional. And then, for a long time, the house sat empty, until the Montclairs arrived. Ellie, Mark, and their 6-year-old son, Jude. They were the kind of family you'd envy. Mark played cello in the city's orchestra. Ellie was a children's author, gentle, soft-spoken. And Jude had a mind like a maze. He loved puzzles, especially clocks. They moved in during spring. Ellie told her sister the house felt strange from the beginning. It creaked, but not in a natural way. The kitchen light flickered every night at 11:13. The attic door opened by itself, and the walls, sometimes they throbbed. She said it felt like the house was breathing, like it had lungs. Music shifts. It began subtly. At night, Jude would talk in his sleep, words Ellie didn't recognize. Gibberish at first, but then he started drawing them. Not monsters, not nightmares, schematics, gears, levers, clock faces, complex diagrams far beyond a child's comprehension. They showed doors that didn't exist, rooms that weren't part of the house, passages that spiraled inward, impossibly, like Escher paintings come to life. Then came the scratching, every night in the same spot behind the nursery wall. Ellie called pest control 3 times. Nothing. Mark said she was paranoid, sleep-deprived, too attached to the house. But Ellie wasn't the only one hearing things. Jude told his teacher he had a friend who lived in the time between. When she asked what that meant, he just smiled and said, "It's where the seconds sleep. It's safe there, unless the clock stopped ticking." Beat, then a shift, and then, on the 47th night, Jude disappeared. There was no forced entry. The doors were locked from the inside. His shoes were by the door, his toy bear neatly placed on the kitchen table, as if he knew he was going somewhere and meant to come back. The only thing out of place? The grandfather clock in the hallway, which had been broken for over 70 years, was ticking. The police searched for weeks. Dogs, helicopters, divers. Nothing. Not a trace. Not a footprint. Ellie swore she could feel him inside the house. She said he was stuck in the walls, that the house had taken him and hidden him in time. Mark called it a breakdown. He left a month later. Ellie stayed. She never left the house again. Music builds. Eerie violins fade in, creating tension. Neighbors say they still hear the ticking, that every window in the house is covered now, that Ellie talks to the walls at night. Then, 5 years passed. No updates, no answers, until last week. I received an email. No sender, no signature, just this. The walls are changing again. Jude is closer than ever. There's something inside the clocks. Come at midnight. Come alone. I don't know how they found me, but I'm going. Tonight. Final sequence. Slow, chilling voice. If this is real, if there's even the slightest chance Jude is still in that house, then this goes beyond mystery, beyond folklore. I need to know what happened, what's behind the ticking, and what the Montclairs were never meant to find. Because when a house eats time, it doesn't give it back. Dramatic cliffhanger line, cold, quiet whisper. Next, I'll tell you what I saw in the hidden room behind the library wall, and why it shouldn't have been ticking. Last time, I told you about the Montclairs, about their son Jude, and how he vanished. How the house on Elmridge Lane doesn't just hold secrets, it swallows them. I said I was going back, that I received a message from someone or something inside the house. No name, no number, just an invitation and a warning. Come at midnight. Come alone. So I did. I arrived just before midnight. The air was thick, like the house was exhaling, waiting for me. No lights, no movement. But the door was unlocked. Inside, everything was still. Dust, mold, peeling wallpaper. And underneath it all, that same soft ticking. But not from the grandfather clock. That wasn't ticking anymore. This came from within the walls. I followed the sound, up the staircase, past the nursery, and into the library. It was exactly as I remembered. Books undisturbed, air heavy, and that strange, uncanny silence. Then I saw it, a single book lying on the floor, open, pages torn. Its title? Where the Seconds Sleep, by Montclair. It wasn't a children's story, not anymore. It was a guide, a coded map. The margins were filled with symbols, matching Jude's diagrams. Clock hands, spiral staircases. One section repeated again and again. Between ticks, the door opens. I turned to the bookshelf behind me and waited. When the clock struck 12, I heard it. A faint click, metal unlocking. One of the bookcases shifted. Not outward, inward. Behind it was a door, old, wooden, and carved with tiny notches like clock teeth. I opened it. Beyond the door, the air turned colder, damp. The hallway spiraled downward, impossibly, like it was burrowing into time itself. The walls were made of stone, not brick, old stone, like something buried long before the house existed. I descended, step by step, each one echoing behind me like a heartbeat. Tick, tick, tick. At the bottom I found a room, a circular chamber, covered in gears. Thousands of them, Some the size of dinner plates, others no bigger than a coin, all slowly turning, powered by nothing. At the center was a chair, small, child-sized, and next to it, a stuffed bear. It was Jude's. Same bear seen on the kitchen table the night he disappeared. But there was something else. Scratched into the stone floor, in a circle around the chair. Time is not a line. Time is a room. And I am still inside. I moved toward the chair, and the gears began to spin faster. The walls trembled. Something groaned from inside them, like the house was reacting. And then I heard it. Faint, muffled, a child's voice. "I'm here." Then, the lights died. Everything plunged into black. The ticking stopped. And a sound behind me, breathing. Not mine, not human. I ran, blind, disoriented, up the stairs, through the door, just before it slammed shut behind me. The house didn't want me to leave, but it let me go this time. Whatever's beneath Elmridge Lane isn't done. Not with Jude, not with Ellie, and now, not with me. Because I saw something in that chamber, a shape behind the gears, watching me, waiting. Next week, I'm going to show you the photo I found in the Montclairs attic, the one that shouldn't exist, and why Jude may not have been the first child the house took.